Are Black Flag Slop or not? Let's get into it. Okay, one, I'm gonna have to explain to you what slop is. Two, how to define slop and how to detect it. Three, we're gonna go over how much of Black Cat Flat, how much of the catalog is slop or not of Black Flag. Four, if they're talented or remarkable otherwise. And then finally, if you and other people are going to consider them slop or not. So without further ado, what is slop? So let's look at the music matrix. We have energy from 0 to 11. You could say energy or intensity. Same thing's going to work. Catchiness from 0 to 10 on the bottom. You could say maybe iconic, how iconic the song is or how memorable it is. But for any given song, if it's less than a 7 catchy, if you're not a fan of the genre, you're going to call it slop. So this is the slop zone. This is the rock zone. This is the pop zone. High intensity, high energy, catchy songs are rock. Low intensity, low energy songs that are catchy are called pop. Everything else is called slop. Unless you're a fan, you might get pedantic and say, well, actually, it's indie or jazz, blues, country, etc. Usually punk's here. How to figure out the energy and intensity is usually easy, right? 0 to 3 makes you want to sleep or like chill out. 3 to 7 is kind of wants, 4 to 7 kind of makes you want to dance, party in a nightclub type of thing. 7 to 11 makes you want to fight, makes you want to mosh, makes you want to, get crazy, right? So, but catchiness, how do we figure this out? So, luckily we have something. Step 2 is to figure out, okay, step 1 was slop is catchiness under 7. So, how do we find that out? How do we figure out catchiness under 7? How do we detect slop? Well, there's a lot of things that go into catchiness, but the one that gives us the biggest gist is going to be the predictability, the average predictability of all the elements in the song, right? So if there's a guitar part that's really interesting and goes out wild, but then the song structure and the lyrics are really kind of predictable, those things might average out to an average predictability in the sweet spot down here. But they still could average out in a way that the song is still slop. So it doesn't guarantee, but for a song to actually have a chance of not being slop, it needs to be in the money zone over here. It can't be completely incoherent in terms of predictability and just go nowhere, and because then it's guaranteed to be slop. And it can't be just completely copy-paste generic, because then it's guaranteed to be slop. But if it's somewhere in the money zone, it still has a chance of being slop, but now it has a chance of also being something that fans of that genre or fans of that band might be really into, but also actually being a hit that everyone goes, okay, undeniably, this is really good. And so now we kind of move on to what is thing 3. Thing 1, thing 2. Thing 1, thing 2. This ain't Dr. Seuss. Yo! This ain't Dr. Seuss! Number 3. I don't know why you're making so much commotion. I'm not making any commotion. Number 3. How dare you? Oh, my Lord. Number 3. Number 3 is going to be. Number 3 is going to be. You got a low self-appeal, man. I think you made. Anyways, that's a Henry Rollins song. Rollins Band. Wrong video. So I get late at night. Okay, Latina's hit me up. Anyways, back to the catalog audit. So this is the OnlyFans model. OnlyFans. That's when this is the relative quality and this is the relative ratio of the different quality across the catalog and artists. So the amount of relative hit quality songs that are for everyone versus songs that are for no one, slop, and songs that are just for fans. If the band is primarily just 800 million songs that are just for fans, they're on OnlyFans. Okay, so Slayer, Motorhead, Frank Zappa, fans of that band or fans of that genre, right? Hit or quit is kind of the opposite, where it's like either it's really, really catchy, almost everything, or it's completely unlistenable. That's kind of Weezer and Queen, right, for a lot of people. If you look over here, you've got a less than 50-50. This is where things start to get tricky because you've got people like David Bowie, Limp Bizkit, and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, where people say, oh, they're a good band. Well, it's like they have a lot of really good songs, but most of what they put out is unlistenable garbage. And so it's like if you do the comparison of the whole, you know what I'm saying, right? So this gets tricky because some people go, well, their average quality is god-awful. It's unlistenable. 50-50 is think 3 albums that are amazing, 3 albums that are for fans, 3 albums that are unlistenable. Led Zeppelin, Nine Inch Nails, those are good examples. Classic catalog is the one you want, right? The Beatles, Metallica, Daft Punk, Rage Against the Machine, most of the stuff that's undeniably good, and then some B-sides. I'm going to say Black Flag fall into this. you're going to get a lot of mileage out of that catalog if you like punk, and even if it's not catchy, but you like it, you're going to get a lot of mileage. Not a lot of it's completely unlistenable. There's always something kind of fun and interesting and quirky to it that keeps you entertained, keeps you engaged. So I think it goes to for fans only. Only fans. Now, fourth is, are Black Flag talented outside of that? So basically, people who don't like punk are instantly going to say, well, they're not good because they're going to consider everything past this point slop, by the way. So they're going to say all they have is slop. They have like one or two catchy songs, so they're bad. But people who do like punk or like Black Flag, they kind of like it for other reasons, or like they thought the logos are really cool, so they kind of like are like, well, I'll give it a chance. They might find out that they found a way to get into this stuff, and so now they go, no, they're good. So you might get some split opinions because of that, right? So that's the interesting thing about an OnlyFans catalog. Is OnlyFans catalogs seem to be split between people who have gone through the catalog to find the things they like and people who just can't be bothered to because they're like, just write a hit. I'm not going to do the work. You do the work. So that's kind of the split between people on opinions for an OnlyFans type of band, for an OnlyFans model. No, but so this is like T-shirt. This is totally what Black Flag gets 100 on this thing. Basically, there's three main kind of like talent groups you can break people into. This is purely like, could Kim Kardashian at Walmart mistake the shirt of the band, mistake them for like a clothing brand? Black Flag, 1,000%. Earrings, shirts, tattoos, everything. More people like the logo than they like the band. And so that's my comment on the band negatively. That's a comment positively on the branding of the band. They've done such an amazing job. The artwork is just phenomenal. So they get 1,000% green here. Musicianship, is it remarkable? Does it make you want to pick up an instrument and learn it? Honestly, to a certain extent, yes, because especially My War, you've got songs like that kind of bring you in. I really liked learning Black Coffee, Slip It In. A lot of these things were fun. I mean, maybe a yellow here because it's not like virtuoso like listening to Van Halen 1. But it's pretty good. The songwriting, though, I got to give them a red. In general, they're bad. They're not good at this. So the reason this is useful is you're going to see, like, I got the green right in my eye. They're yellow here, red here, and a green here, which means if you care just about catchy songs, you're going to say they're awful. If you care just about virtuoso guitar playing and cool riffs, you're going to say they're not the best. And then if you just care about branding and you don't care about the other stuff, you're going to say they're amazing. So it's like, that's where you get a beautiful kind of thing where it's like, people are going to be split. So the controversy is going to be notable. There's going to be a notable amount of difference in opinion between people. Now we finally get to the chart. So what are they actually going to say? What's the difference of opinion? Most people think, in general, how is the band? Catchiness-wise, in general, how are they energy-wise? How memorable or intense, in general, is the band? And so they just remember the songs they remember off the hand, which maybe is 10 songs. It's probably the ones they like the best because those are the only ones you're going to spend time remembering if you're the brain of a reptile human.
Reptile, I'm a reptile. Going back to the planet. Going back to reptile life.
What? What did he say? What? Here are my top 10 songs. Rise Above, and I'm about to I know it's back down. And my war, you're one of them. You said you were my friend, but you're one of them. And then Six Pack and Black Coffee, drinking black coffee, slip it in. I get so wound up, but I feel so let down. I get so wound up, but I feel. And then I can't decide anything. You're Not Evil, TV Party. Yeah, so in general, honestly, I think these are pretty much the total of the catchiest songs they have, and the rest of them are like 5s and 4s. So, but this still does get them a 7.6. In general, they are a good band. But I would probably skip, like, I don't listen all the way through Wound Up and Can't Decide. Like, they just don't, they're just not catching enough. They're 6s. And then even, like, Slip It In's good, but, like, I just skip it after a while. It just keeps going. And, like, Six Pack and You're Not Evil, like, I don't really listen to them. But the 9s and 8s I do, like Rise Above, Nervous Breakdown. My War's great. Black Coffee I love, even though it keeps going. TV Party is really fun. But in general, they have a 7.5 on energy. They have a 7.6 on catchiness. Musicianship, they do kind of good at, but brand, they knock it out of the park. They have an OnlyFans model over here. This is the OnlyFans distribution model. And then you have I would say a medium to high level of controversy because people are going to disagree about it. But we said, 7.5, 7.5. So let's say high energy punk. That seems accurate, right? And then some semblance of some catchy stuff, maybe 1, 2, 3 hits would get you kind of like an average over here out of your top 10. So their top 10 probably looks like this, right? Where it's kind of like around here. Where did I say? Like they're in this range, right? For their top 10. But then the instant you throw in the other stuff, it's just like, it's kind of a splatter of this area, right? So if you look on average, they're probably like here. Probably like moderately engaging, moderately memorable, reasonable level of energy punk music. That's if you average the whole catalog, though. And there's a lot of difference, like the Rollins stuff, the other singers. So it's not like one size fits all. And a band doesn't play their entire catalog at a concert. Band plays top 10, top 20, top 30. But still, top 10, top 20, top 30, it might still be like, a 7, 6.5 on catchiness. But, if you're there for the fun, for the show, for the brand, like everything, right? So I think in general, because they're good, people are going to say they're rock, but most likely they're going to say they're punk because most people aren't going to, like, if something's catchy and it's in the punk energy range, people call it punk rock, right? Punk rock, the Ramones are punk rock. Even though they're like low in the punk energy range, they still get called punk rock because they're really catchy, right? So when you come across the slop line, they add the word, right? They add it as a description. And because I don't think for most people, I don't think they're going to make it out of punk. They're at the higher end of punk, but they're distinctly not. Because whenever anything high energy gets sufficiently catchy, it gets called rock. And that kind of dominates it. But that's what I predict you and other people are going to say. Now, if you're a punk fan, you're going to be like, they're great. But you're also probably going to be like, one of the most memorable songs and well put together songwriting ever that sticks the landing. But I like it. And I look for the things I like and I focus on enjoying that. And I think a similar band is like Primus, where it's like, they don't always stick the landing, but I look for the thing I like and I really focus on that when I'm listening to a song instead of the stuff I don't like, right? I can pick apart all these songs and that's always easy to do. But if you want to be a fan of something, you want to get to enjoy something, you don't always do that. You kind of turn that part of your brain off and say, defocus that and turn up the saturation on this, right? And yes, that's what I think. Next video, Polyphia. I'll see you then.
Let me tell you something, you're into